Hey, listener, hey, and welcome to the very first episode of Walter's Rear Window, where we talk about stuff we like, stuff we don't like, and all things Portland in between. I'm your co-host, Maya, and you'll meet Claire soon. Listener, this is our first episode and first ever podcast series, so you are going to be coming along with us on our journey of self-discovery and podcast development, and we want to hear from you. Tell us what you like and don't like, and we'll take your feedback into consideration. Today we thought we would introduce ourselves and get to know each other a little bit. In our next couple of episodes, we're hoping to review all sorts of quote-unquote classic movies and visit all kinds of Portland local theaters to give you the down low on the most worthwhile spots in town with the best culture, location, and vibes. So stay tuned for the hottest take on local theaters and quote-unquote classic movies. Without further ado, enjoy our Getting to Know You Truth or Truth. Describe yourself as a person. How would you describe yourself in like 3 sentences?
That's a lot of sentences.
Okay, well, give me one that, like, you can pare it down if you want.
I'm a huge fan of gorillas. I guess that's one. I don't know if you can count that as part of my personality, but
maybe it's an interesting detail.
It's an interesting detail for sure. I would say I'm a very somewhat driven person, but also maybe like cautiously optimistic. That's the best way I can describe myself.
Yeah, it's always so interesting. I feel like I always love to hear how people describe themselves, because the way that I think of myself is completely different than like the way a lot of other people think of me. And so I'm just like, I'm always curious to see like what people have to say when they're like, oh, I am blank, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you describe yourself then?
I'm a loner at heart. Like, it's just kind of like part of who I am. Like, I always kind of have been. Like, I used to, when I was a kid, my mom would invite friends over for me. She'd be like, we're having a play date. And I'd be like, no, like, I just want to be at home playing my DS. I just wasn't really a people person. Like, people stress me out. But when I do get close with someone, I feel like I'm actually comfortable with you. And that's like a thing that doesn't really happen with a lot of people, you know?
So you wanted me to describe it in 3 sentences, and you just gave me a whole essay. Well, you can just give out one. It's okay.
Okay, let's see. I am secretly friendly is I think how I would describe myself.
Yeah, I think that kind of checks out.
Secretly friendly. You really have to want to be my friend if you want to hang out with me, because like it's really hard for me to maintain relationships, but like once you do, it's like, oh yeah, let's hang out, you know?
Are you a PSL type of person? It's fall.
I feel like that's such a good personality question. Like, I feel like that like is telling, you know? I would say I have been a PSL person in my lifetime. At this point in time, I don't think so. I have gone through these phases where like I craved the PS. I was like full fall girly, like Uggs, everything, you know? And I did go through a period of my life and it was like, it brought me so much joy, you know, like the PSL was great. But now I'm just like, I don't know, like I haven't like, ugh, it tastes a little weird now. Like there's something not right about it. Like, have you had the, Starbucks does like an apple crisp latte? And it sounds disgusting, and it absolutely is. Like, I don't know if you've had it before, but it was so nasty.
Wait, why was it bad?
I don't know, like it's just apple, like there's a part of me that's like, oh, maybe like caramel apple, like it might work, you know? But like, it is like a Jolly Rancher mixed with coffee. Like, it's just really gross. Like, it's an intense sweet flavor combination that should not have been born.
So it was like too sweet for you.
Yeah, like I think it was just like, it was too many flavors going on. Like, I feel like you can't have a coffee flavored apple. Like, it's just 2 flavors that don't complement each other, you know?
Are you talking about the apple crisp oatmeal macchiato?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my final answer for that would be like, I'm not a pumpkin spice latte at this point in time, but there are like fall drinks that have filled that hole in my heart, like the chai. Like, chai is a perfect fall drink. Okay, as far as you can remember, what was like the best day of your life? Like, what was like the happiest day that you had?
Oh, the day that Snuggle finally decided she wasn't afraid of me anymore.
You have to tell everyone who Snuggle is.
Snuggle is my little buddy. She's 2 pounds nothing. She's just like, she's a little diva, but she really has stolen my heart and has destroyed my mom's house, basically.
She is actually the cutest thing I've ever seen. We are gonna have to attach photos with this episode because people are gonna need to reference Snuggle. She's gonna be a recurring character on this podcast.
She's like a little demon, but a little angel at the same time.
All rolled into a cute little 2-pound fluff.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, no, it took her maybe almost 6 months to get like used to me.
That is the greatest answer. Like that day when it just kind of clicks and they're like, okay, like I trust you now. It's like the best feeling ever.
They're just so calm because you know that they're earnest and like it's like a real trust. It's not like a fake one.
Absolutely. And I think they're very intuitive too. So it's like you sit there and you're like, I have good vibes, you guys. Like,
yeah, exactly.
They love me.
So Maya and I are both really big fans of Wes Anderson. And my question to you is, what would you say to him if we ever meet him in person?
Let's see. Okay, so I don't know what I would say to him, but my heart was shattered because like I just was like purposely not learning about him as a person, you know? Like I love his work. I think he's like an amazing artist and just like filmmaker in general. Like I have his like coffee table book, like it's ridiculous. I'm a huge fan of him. But like this year I heard a recording from his set that was released where he was like screaming at the crew and like everyone, he was being such a dick. Like
was he being a Tom Cruise?
Yes. He was like, I'm Wes fucking Anderson. This shit has to be symmetrical. Like he was just like screaming at them and I was like, oh, like maybe I don't want to meet him. Like maybe I'll just enjoy his work from afar.
It's one of those things where like your heroes become the villain.
Exactly. Like I'm like, they say like never meet your heroes because it's like, like I have a feeling he would probably like break my heart and then I would be like, I never want to watch Wes Anderson again. But if I had the opportunity, what would I say to him? I would beg him to please do another stop motion project. I really want more Wes Anderson animation. What would you say?
I would just tell him that he needs a writing partner.
I agree. Claire wants to meet him once and never again. I love that.
You know what? Like, directors need to get on their high horses and listen to the fans a little more. You know? Would you rather watch a film that has beautiful cinematography and beautiful aesthetics, but no substance and no real plot? Or would you rather watch a film that has incredible plot and incredible writing, but the cinematography and the aesthetics is not your taste? Or like very different from your taste.
So because like equipment is getting more affordable and like more accessible, like the quality of cameras is getting better and cheaper, like iPhones have 4K cameras and stuff like that. I feel like the amount of media that has come out that has been really gorgeous, like really, really, really pretty, well done, like well shot, is just generally nice
it's
to look at. It's the
norm now, you think?
Yes, I think that a lot of like they have, I don't know, just generally nice to look at, sets, like filming, all of that stuff. But so much of it doesn't have any substance. Like I just watched a movie on Netflix the other day. It was called Reptile. I don't know if you saw that. I don't recommend it. It's long and it's, personally, I didn't love it. But like if you did, tell me why. I think I was like sitting there watching it and I was like, well, this is really pretty. They've got some good actors for some reason. Justin Timberlake is like a lead in it.
He's in it? What?
Yeah, and he's actually pretty good. Like I was pretty impressed. I was like, okay, JT, like I'm all right. Like and Alicia Silverstone, who is in Clueless, and I love her. So I was like, yeah, like let's watch it. Let's go see what happens. And I was really hoping like the name implied like lizard people or something. That was not the case, so I was a little bit disappointed. But I think like I think like there are a lot of movies that are coming out that don't have strong plots or stories that are very well thought through, but they do look pretty. And I think that they get funded because of that. Like all of these, for example, like Netflix, they have all those covers for their movies and they can make it look really good. Like the marketing can look really good for whatever it is. But then when you sit down and watch it, it's like, wait, what is this? You know, like I've seen a couple of really weird movies recently, so I think I'd rather watch an ugly, really good movie, you know, like one where like I appreciated the story, because like there are so many things now that are aesthetically pleasing that like I'm almost over that. Like there's a part of me that's like, oh, now I want to see something that's like that wows me on a different level, you know?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
What about you? Like, are you more on the aesthetic or like the substance
I
side?
don't know. It depends for me. There are so many old movies that I wish would have 2023 technology that did all the effects.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, right now, I think maybe some people got complacent because we have all these technologies to make things look really, really pretty. So the effort into writing a good story is not so much a priority anymore.
Yeah, I think that that's a good way of saying it, because like, yeah, it's true. Like they can just make this media look really good and people will be like, all right, I'll give it a shot, you know, because it's on Netflix, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. If you could live anywhere in the world in any kind of home and money was no object, where would you live and what would your house be like?
Okay, I want a tree house of some kind.
Oh, I did not expect that answer and I like it.
No, it's because I don't like being on the first floor of
Oh, that's so fair.
Like,
we live in Portland.
yeah, I like
that is a reasonable.
I would rather be on like the second or the third floor. So if I'm gonna own a house, any money is, and I can spend any money on it, it would probably be some kind of tree house. And where, I don't know, honestly, maybe somewhere where the weather is like nice all year round, like Hawaii or something like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that sounds lovely. I feel like for me, like if I could live anywhere, I have this vision, like tiny home living has been like a dream of mine since I was like 6, which is ridiculous because I would hate it. Like I just love the idea of it. Like I'm just like, oh, that'd be so fun. But like in reality, I'd be like, there's no space. Like I don't have any room to do anything. But like when I was a kid, I always dreamed of like living in a pod, you know, like the moving pods. And like it was like my dream. I was like, every time we would pass by, we would go to New York sometimes, and every single time there were like these huge shipping yards right outside of New York, and we would pass by them, and I would just imagine myself living in the shipping pods in the yard. And I was just like, so like if I could make that comfortable, like if I got a whole shipping yard full of pods, money is no object, we're talking like big, oh my god, I build like a pod city. I feel like that'd be so fun.
So this is what you do.
Like,
you just have to buy like 2 U-Hauls, the big ones, and you just turn them into houses.
I haven't thought about this extensively. Like this is something that I have been thinking about for so long, and it's so ridiculous because it's so impractical, and I would hate it in practice, but like my brain is like, I love this idea. Like I love this, like it makes me laugh. I think yeah, like I want to live in a pod somewhere. I'm gonna make a commune of pods.
Because that's very interesting. Because I know you have told me that you don't like small spaces.
I know, like I get very claustrophobic, but for some reason I'm like, it's all I need to live, and it's so false. Like I would be like, there's no room for my blender, like I can't do this and that, you know. Like it's impractical, the dream.
So my next question is, what's your pet peeve when you go see a film?
Okay, so something like, as we talk about movies more and more in characters and stuff like that, you're gonna learn like a couple of things about me, which is like, I have the attention span of a fruit fly. My ability to keep track of the stuff going on screen is very low. So like it's impressive if I can remember the plot to a movie. It means I really liked it. And then B is my big pet peeve. I really cannot watch movies that do this because like I literally cannot follow the plot. Is when they have too many characters that have the same color hair. Like I cannot tell them apart. I remember I tried to watch, I can't remember, it was like some magician movie or whatever. Oh my god, I wish I could remember the name of it. But whatever. They had like 3 actors who were all white and had like dark brown hair, and I literally had no idea what was going on at any given point because I was like, just could not tell which one was which. I'm like face blind when it comes to certain things, you know? And so like, I really, really, really have to be able to like differentiate them somehow. Like one of them has to have like a pink streak or something, you know? Like, and it's funny because like Wyatt, my boyfriend, he is like so good with faces. Like he'll be like, oh, that's the guy who like made us coffee like 8 years ago. And I'll be like, you're a crazy person. What? Like this person could have talked to me a second ago and I'd be like, no, I've never seen them in my life. Like, I don't know who it is. So like, I feel like I need character differentiation. Like I need unique looks for all of your characters. I feel like that's why I like Wes Anderson, you know?
Yeah. His stuff is definitely very, very stylized.
For sure. What's your pet peeve?
My pet peeve is it has to be shorter than 2 hours.
Hard agree. Like, hard agree.
Anything longer, like maybe 2 hours and 30 minutes, but the 30 minutes...
If it's good.
But no, the 30 minutes has to be like the credits. So that I could just leave.
Yes. So fair. Yes. A true 2 hours.
A true 2 hours. Honestly, the perfect film for me is just 90 minutes. I think that is...
Same. Like, you get in there, you get to eat your snack, you get comfortable, you learn the plot, and then you get out. Like, we don't need any of all the, like, the crazy fluff in between. I feel like that's become a thing, too, like, making extra long movies, and I'm just like,
definitely.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's not for me.
Everything...
I don't, like...
Everything is 3 hours long now.
Yeah, like I said, like I have the attention span of a fruit fly. There is no way. Like I could not sit around and do that. What is something that you're terrible at, but you wish you could do well?
Wish I could dress myself a little bit better, or at least care a little bit more.
I like your style though. Like I love your like...
It's just black. It's very much like theater tech person, which is what I was. Because you know how you're required to dress in black if you're working backstage at theater?
I love that look. Like I always have. And also like you are forgetting that you like compliment it with like cool rain boots and like fun glasses. Like she's
no, but I've been dressing the same since I was like in high school. So, like...
I went to Catholic school for 17 years. So I was wearing a uniform for 17 years. And I dressed so ridiculously just because I had no idea what to wear, like, because I was constantly wearing a uniform. So, like, I really didn't know, like, what my style was or anything. Like, I have some ridiculous photos of myself. Like, I've got some reference. But I feel like I hit this moment where I was like, oh, like, I feel like I'm kind of finding that sense of, like, self in fashion because, like, fashion's it's, like, a really, really hard thing to find your style in, you know? And, like, I don't know, it's different for everyone, so you never know, like, what it's going to be. I really like your style. I really like, you were wearing the coolest rain boots the other day, and I think, like, there's a lot of fun in fashion, but it's just it's, like, a complicated thing, you know? Because it's tied to like self-image and stuff like that, which is just like it's difficult. I'm terrible at math. If I could do math, I would absolutely that would be my pick. I like literally cannot comprehend numbers. It is something that has been a part of my life forever. Like I have always sucked at math, and I've tried so hard. Like I did Kumon for years. Like I was working on it, and no, just it's not a thing for me. So if I could do that, that would be great. And if I could remember names, that would be awesome. I suck at remembering names. Like, it's embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, you do kind of suck at remembering.
I know, it's, like, so bad. Dude, it took, like, I had to ask, like, so many people, like, 4 times. I was like, I'm so sorry, what's your name? Like, when I first started working with Claire, I was at the office, and it was embarrassing, because, like, I'm shy, so I don't really talk to people. So, like, when it would be, like, 4 months in, and I would be like, I'm so sorry, like, what's your name? Like, we've never talked before. I'm sorry, like, I don't know who you are. So yeah, like, I did that to a couple of people we worked with.
My question's a little bit related to that. What is one thing, like, one flaw you know about yourself that you want to change, but you know you can't change because that flaw actually helps you out a lot in your life?
Ooh. Oh, okay, that's a good one. let's see. One flaw. Okay, this is a big flaw of mine. I am the biggest flake in the world. And it's just because I have like really bad social anxiety, and like I will have moments where like for a long time, like before I actually moved to Portland, this is interesting. I don't think I've ever told you this. But before I moved to Portland, I was really sick all the time, like constantly. And I was going to a bunch of different doctors and trying to figure out what was going on. Like I did a bunch of blood tests, like literally everything to try and figure out what was wrong with me because I was sick all the time. And it got to the point where I was like having like a 5th appointment with like a gastrointestinal like specialist to like help because I was just like throwing up all the time. Like I was really sick. And she was like, so like everything came back normal, like everything's totally fine, like I think it might be an anxiety thing. And I was like, that doesn't make sense, like what are you talking about? And then I started therapy and it like went away. Like as I left my job that was like suffocating me, and like I started meeting more people and like hanging out with friends and prioritizing like my own projects, it became a lot easier to manage. So I think like on some level my flakiness saves me because it is my last defense towards like self-protection in some situations where I'm like, I'm gonna get so sick if I do this today, like or like it's just gonna be bad if I do this today. Mm-hmm. But I hate that quality because it makes it really, really, really hard for me to maintain relationships at the same time. Okay.
Well, so far you haven't flaked on me yet, though. So.
Oh well, thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, and that should tell you that I like you because I have the flakiest person alive. What about you?
I think probably the biggest one is I wish I would not check out so much when I'm not interested or don't dislike something, because I'm not a very confrontational person.
Me either.
And like usually if I don't like something or there's I see confrontation coming, I kind of just go quiet and I would just like ignore it. It's kind of like what Snuggle does whenever she sees a hog. She's just like, yeah. Whenever Snuggle sees a hog, she doesn't run away. She just like turns around, and it's kind of like, if I can't see it, it can't hurt me. And I'm kind of like that.
Well, you both survived thus far.
Yeah, that's true. But I wish I would speak up a little more and be like, no, this makes me uncomfortable. Or like,
that's a super relatable one.
Well, I mean, like, I would say this makes me uncomfortable if it's like directly involves me in some ways. But if it's like, if I see something or like less like by proxy kind of involves me and I don't like it, I'm not the type to kind of like speak up. Like if we're in like a meeting, like a project meeting, and my boss says something that I have an idea for a project that I disagree with, I more often than not would just not say anything, even though I think it's a bad idea what they're proposing.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to like rock the boat, especially if like other people are agreeing with that person on like their proposals.
I feel like that's so relatable, especially like because I am the exact same way. Like I do this same exact thing where I'm like, listen, I don't want to deal with this right now. Like, even if I don't agree with it, or like I don't think that it's the best way of doing something, I won't always speak up. Or in fact, like most of the time I won't speak up. I think like a lot of it has to do, honestly, like with being our age in the field that we're in. Like we are in such a male dominated field that like it's impossible to get a word in general. And then when you do, like the amount of support that you get from the people around you is very little. So it's like, it's just very difficult to kind of maintain that. Like I've been having trouble with that recently, and that's something that I want to work on too.
Yeah, that makes sense, because usually when things like that happen, I just kind of check out. And like, I do wish I would say something about it, but also just kind of checking out and being like blissfully ignorant about it is kind of like almost a self-defense mechanism, because it prevents you from
definitely
getting entangled in a potential mess that could.
And also, like, I think so. Like, it definitely is self-preservation, because, like, if you're sitting there and you're like, hey, even if I do get my thought out, what are the odds that these people are going to take me seriously, listen to what I'm saying, and, like, actually consider it on the same level that they're considering everything else? So I definitely understand where you're coming from on that. Are you currently pursuing something that makes you happy? Why or why not?
Okay, I guess, yeah. I mean, in general, I try to be happy with my life.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda.
Like, what is something that you do that, like, brings you joy?
I don't know. It's got sad all of a sudden.
No, I'm sorry.
No.
I know. Sometimes it's hard to, like, qualify that stuff, you know? This podcast is something that I'm pursuing that is, like, bringing me joy right now because it's distracting me from everything that's going on in the industry. Like, I feel like it's a personal project that I'm actually putting faith into, that, like, we're actually, like, we're trying to make this happen, you know? And it's kind of hard for me to keep up with that momentum sometimes, but, like, I've been really excited about this and I've been thinking about it a lot. I just think, like, I think that this is one of those things that is keeping me sane through all of the striking and the craziness at work. Yeah, like, I think that, like, this is one of those things.
I think a lot of things makes me pretty happy sometimes. Like, I cleaned my house yesterday, and after I was done, I was like, I felt pretty good about that.
That is the most gratifying feeling in the world. Like, dude, when your house is a wreck and you're like, you know what, I'm done. Like, I'm done with this. And you just, like, deep clean it. And you, like, and you get to sit back and look at your work, and it's just a nice space to be in. I completely get that.
Yeah, that's something. Or like when I finish all my laundry and stuff like that.
Oh my God, it never happens. I'm like, that is such a feat. That's impressive.
So Maya and I, well, it's really more Maya, but she's into reality TV shows.
Yes.
And if we were to produce a reality TV show, what would it be about?
Claire, this is such a good question. Okay.
And a follow-up question. Who would we cast to be the host?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
We can discuss about it.
Yes. Okay. We'll have to. I feel like, okay. All right. I'm going to pull from both of us. Listener, for your benefit, Claire is a huge Gordon Ramsay fan, and I think that he would be the funniest dating show reality host.
No.
Like, can you imagine Gordon Ramsay wrecking these couples? Like, that would be so incredible. So I feel like Gordon Ramsay has to be the host.
Well, okay, but what's the premise? Is it a dating show?
Okay, so I'm a sucker for a good dating show. I think, like, and it has to be a competition. It can't just be quote unquote for love. Like, there has to be some element of, like, a reason they want to win.
Oh, wait, hold on. I have ideas.
Let's hear it. I need to hear it.
What if Gordon is teaching couples who don't know how to cook how to cook?
Oh my God. And like, oh yes, I can see it now. We need to get in contact with Gordon Ramsay. I feel like, yes, couples cooking show where, maybe that's like the tiebreaker. Maybe it's like a dating show. And like every single round, they all have to present a dish. And no matter like who the fan favorite of the audience is, like the favorite couple, it doesn't matter. It's like the dish matters, you know? So like you could be like the best couple in the world, but you made a bad set of pasta. Gordon Ramsay doing a cooking/dating show would be so funny because like one of the more recent dating shows to come out is Too Hot to Handle. And honestly, like one of the funniest parts of that show to me is the fact that they have a host and the host is a robot. It's a robot, but it's a robot that just disses the contestants constantly. And I'm like, that's actually like the funniest concept for like the whole show for me. Like the rest of it, I'm like, meh, I don't like it that much, but like, it's so funny. The robot just like trashing all of these contestants constantly. And I feel like Gordon would be a great stand-in for like a human version of that.
I just can't imagine him being like wanting to do a dating show.
That would be so funny.
It would
like,
be so funny.
We'll reference Hell's Kitchen. He's in like this like snazzy red silk shirt. He's like, welcome everyone. Oh my God, it would be amazing.
Okay, what's the title though? What is it? It has to be something that has like I don't know, like there is this thing where people say that you win your significant other's heart through their stomach.
Yeah, like I feel like it would be like fire and spice or something, you know? Like something dramatic that like a little bit alludes to food, you know? I feel like that is like it alludes to the food, it alludes to the fiery nature of the couples. Like I think it could work. I think we can make it work.
Is this like what you would call it? Like one of those like what is that thing called? It's the one where the married couple asks whether or not they want to get married.
The ultimatum?
Yeah, is this like the ultimatum where it's like actual couples coming in, or are we like Love Island Bachelor style, just like new people?
That is such a good question. Okay, are we breaking up relationships or are we forging new ones? That's a good question. I feel like we have to be breaking up relationships.
I feel like Gordon will be breaking up relationships.
This is Gordon. Like, we're putting Gordon on this project. He's breaking couples up. In what way would you most like to become famous?
I don't know if becoming famous, like what's your definition of a famous?
So I think I'm keeping it kind of vague on purpose because like if I were to like my answer to this question would be something like if I was to become famous, I would want to be like podcast famous because like I wouldn't want people like recognizing me, you know? Like I would want to be able to go about my like regular life and just be like a C tier like person, you know? Like generally people have an idea of who I am, but they leave me alone, you know, as opposed to like Tom Cruise or like Brad Pitt, you know?
Okay, you know what's funny? When you asked me that question, the first thought I went towards is what if I killed someone and that's became famous?
That is so funny, Claire. You are unhinged and I love it. That is so funny.
But like maybe like it's like accidental. I became famous through like something I did. Like maybe I drowned someone.
Oh my god. Have you seen the musical Chicago?
Yes.
Okay, you're giving me like Roxy Hart.
I would not be Roxy Hart because I wouldn't. I don't want to kill someone out of like rage. I want him to be like, have you seen that? There was this piece of news a couple of like years ago about this girl and her boyfriend, and the boyfriend wanted the girl to test how many books a bullet can go through, and he's yeah. I have to look this up for you, but he stupidly stood at the very end of all those books and told her to shoot him, and she did.
Oh my god!
And she killed him.
Oh
and they
my
have this
god,
all on
terrifying.
video, and it was in like because her was a unique case because she's technically going to jail for murder, right?
Yeah.
But the jury gave her, I think, a lighter sentence due to the nature of what was going on because her boyfriend literally told her to shoot him.
Yeah. Oh, that is so complicated. Yeah. No.
So I would like to get famous in like by proxy, kind of that way, like something a little mysterious, you know, like people. Oh my!
I love that answer so
like
much.
I would love it. I would want reporters to go report people from like my life, and then they would just be like, "Oh, I never thought Claire would do that. She's like, I didn't know she was that type of girl."
I'm so dead. That is the best answer ever. I literally never would have guessed that. I feel like you don't want to be famous, you want to be notorious, and I love that.
Or like maybe like I conned a bunch of people like Anna Delvey style, and like that's how I got famous.
Dude, I would like fangirl. Can you imagine? I'd be like, I always knew she had it in her. I knew she could scam billions. Oh my god, that would be so awesome.
So maybe I don't want to be famous. I want to be notorious.
I think that's perfect. I'm so in. I'm so here for it. What is a fear you faced and how did you face it?
Probably a fear I faced was deciding whether or not I wanted to go to art school or not.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because first of all, I think this school system in America, well, that's just not really even in America, but in a lot of places, they make you decide on your career way too early.
I agree.
Like, when I was 18, I was an idiot. Like,
Same.
to be honest.
Same.
I didn't really know what direction my life was going to be in. I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen 10 years from when I turned 18. And so... And I remember during that time of my life, it was just very confusing. And like there were all these things that were happening, and all these adults around me were just kind of trying to force me to make a decision about my life.
Yeah.
And at the time, I decided I wanted to do art school because that was what felt the most comfortable for me and that made me the most happy, I guess. And so that's why I decided to do it, even though I didn't know like what job prospects was going to come out of it.
Yeah.
But then also I feel like it's a little daunting to ask an 18-year-old, what do you want to do for the rest of your life, you know?
Absolutely. I think like this is going to sound so silly. Have you seen the Bee movie?
Yeah.
Okay. You know that scene where he has just graduated school and he has to pick his career and he's like in line and all of the careers are flipping through and he's like, all right, you got to make one decision and that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Go. Like that is how I felt when I was 18, like making this decision, because I was in the same boat. I when I decided to go to school, literally only applied to one college. And I was hoping that I would get into the arts department, but if I didn't, I was just going to go to the school and then reapply to the arts department. And I ended up getting into the arts department, and it was so hard. Like just in general, like art school is impossible. Like I'm sure you have your stories as well. I feel like that is such a daunting point in your life, like especially with like student loans and stuff like that, to hand a 16-year-old a pen and to sign their life away for like $80,000 like is insane.
I feel like it's kind of somehow an American thing a little bit, because I feel like kids in Europe or like kids in like other countries, they get to decide a lot later in life, kind of. Yeah. Like I know I have a lot of friends who I went to art school with that are from overseas, like in Europe or in Asia, that are either they already changed careers or like they're in school for different things, or they're just not interested in art anymore. And I feel like you don't exactly get that in the US. It's kind of a little more of like a process, you know?
Yeah.
Like once you decide on this, once you decide this is the degree you're gonna get, your parents are kind of expected that that's the path that you're gonna go down.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like I think it's so it is so like almost like set in stone once you make that decision in the US, because like, and like obviously like there are ways to change your career and stuff like that, but like the norm is not that.
No,
the norm is like just sticking to it and hoping it works out, you know. And so like, and it's just insane that we have that amount of power over our lives at like 16. Like that's crazy. My final question, I chose like a silly one for the end. Okay, what is the stupidest thing that you have like a really strong opinion about? I am an oat milk latte girly, but I still eat a shit ton of cheese. Like, it's not a dairy thing, it's just that I don't like drinking milk. Like, so I'm like, I'll be like oat milk every time, you know, but I will still eat so much cheese, it's unbelievable. So probably the most contradictory opinion.
Do you like vegan cheese?
Yes, I actually do. Like, it definitely depends. But like, there's what's the pizza place that we go to sometimes? Sizzle Pie. I really like their vegan cheese, and then there's some vegan cheese from like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's that I really like. But I don't know, like nothing compares to the real thing in my opinion.
Okay, I guess this is I don't think it's exactly a stupid opinion, but maybe people can disagree with me on that. I swear to God, the Chipotle ingredients and the Chipotle menu has changed, and I don't like it.
I love that opinion.
The taste of like the corn, especially like it's different.
I agree, and I used to love Chipotle's corn. Like, I'm a huge corn fan.
Is this the East Coast West Coast thing? Like, are things?
I think it must be.
Really?
Okay, so like that's one thing. I grew up on the West Coast, right? But my parents were from the East Coast.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I loved corn. I mean, I still love corn to this day. Like, I will eat corn constantly. But my parents were always like, West Coast corn sucks. Like, West Coast corn is so terrible. And then we would go to the East Coast and I would have East Coast corn. Oh my God, it was amazing. Like, it's just so much better. I think, like, it just grows better there, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so it must be like, maybe it is something like that, because we both like recently had that realization with like Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. The Dunkin' Donut hash browns are not as good on the West Coast as they are on the East.
Heartbreak.
Yeah.
I miss my Dunkin' Donuts mini hash browns.
Yeah, we don't have Dunkin' Donuts here in Portland.
I know.
Which is weird,
so
because I
sad.
feel like Portland is such like a perfect like place for
agree.
Dunkin' Donuts, you know?
I actually like totally agree with that. Like, it feels like there should be a Dunkin'. Like, I just assumed there would be a Dunkin' when I moved.
Maybe they're just afraid of Blue Star's power.
They're like, we don't know. We're gonna let Blue Star have the city.
Okay, that is fun because you did a funny one, and my attempt question is like semi-serious. Okay, what is one low reach, medium, and a sky's the limit reach thing that you want to do with this podcast?
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, that's a great question. Let's see. Low reach. I would love to have like a general local following.
Okay.
Like, I would love to be able to almost like partner with local places, like local cinemas who are doing events, and maybe like we talk about the events that they're doing and we get like discounted tickets or something like that. Like, that would be really exciting to me. I think we would have a ton of fun doing that. And I also think that it would kind of get us out of our comfort zones with certain things. Like, we would try things that were something that we wouldn't normally try because it would just be available to us, which would be really cool. I think that'd be fun. A medium reach would be, I would love to have like, from that point on, like, I would love to have like, either like local filmmakers or artists like come in and talk to us about their processes, to like have guests every once in a while, maybe just to like talk about all the stuff that's going on. Like, I'm just curious, you know, like I think we're kind of finding our way with this and like what the formula is going to be. And so like it's kind of great. Like, that's an awesome question because it's helping us set our goals at the same time. So I think like having people who are interested in the stuff that we're talking about engage with us a little bit more, whether that be like people sending in questions, or like us having guests, or something like that, just having a following that is helping us kind of decide where to put our energy, you know? And then sky's the limit. I would love for this podcast to become the project that I stick with long term, because I feel like I don't, at this point in my life, have a lot of long-term projects that I can point to. And I would love to see us grow and like do a bunch of different things throughout the process of this. Like, it's really exciting to record the first episode just because like this is as like raw as it's ever going to be. Like, we're only going to get better at it as we go, you know? So like, this is this is the type of thing where people have been listening to our podcast for episodes and episodes and episodes will be like, just skip the first episode. Like, they're getting the hang of it still, you know? And I'm like, and I love that, like, because I feel like it's so important to like have a jumping off point, because like I oftentimes will get like afraid of the jumping off point, because like I'll be like, oh, it's not perfect, it's not what I want it to be, you know? But like I feel like I'm already growing by doing this, and I would love to see both of us parlay this into something that is both financially beneficial and like enrichment beneficial, if that makes sense. What about you?
Okay, you can immediately tell the biggest difference between Maya and I by what we think about this. Okay, so for me, my low reach is we got to our 10th episode.
I love it.
The medium reach is we put out one merch.
I love that. That is
like
such
maybe
a good
like
idea.
a t-shirt or like a mug or a hat or something like that.
And
my high reach is I want to get sponsored by Happy and Polly so I can buy water, all sorts of bad stuff.
I'm obsessed. She is ever on theme. That's incredible. That is such a good idea. Yeah, let's start putting that mojo out into the world right now. Episode 1, Happy and Polly, call us. Like, Give us a rant.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Happy and Polly, we're doing some free promo right now for you guys. But they are a really cute specialty cat website.
Yeah, totally. Like pets.
Yeah. They're like a novelty cat pets website, and they have a lot of really cute like cat trees and just like pet stuff that are just kind of expensive. And
they're adorable.
They're so cute. But like Maya and I have been like looking at them for months now, but haven't bought it.
I've been dreaming. I know. I keep putting it off. Like I keep being like, I still have my tree. It's fine. I know the tree is like falling apart. It is so time for a new tree.
They have something called an affiliate program, and when you it's free and easy to join. Our affiliate program is run through Share Sale. I have no idea what that means, but you can earn 10% commission on Happy and Polly customer orders. I have no idea how this works.
I am obsessed with this. Like, okay, listener, I am speaking to you directly now. If you love this podcast, send a short email to service@happyandpolly.com telling them to sponsor us. All right, we will write you a personal thank you note if it happens.
So yeah, that is a very sky. I don't know. Our reaches are like very different from each other.
I kind of love it. Like, and I also like, I feel like that's such a great ending question for our first episode, because it kind of like, it helps us like define our goals a little bit. I love that. I'm very excited. And my reach goal is now also definitely Happy and Polly sponsorship.
Okay.
Now we're saying it in episode 1. When it happens, we're going to throw a party.
We're going to throw a party. But yeah, so Maya is just get your 10th episode, put out a merch line or just one merch, and get a Happy and Polly sponsorship.
I love it. I think that those are such good goals. Like those are like they're defining features to all those goals too. So they're like achievable, which I'm into.
Yeah, I'm all about that short-term goals, you know.
I'm with that. Like that is such a good way of thinking about things, I feel.
Thank you so much for listening to our first episode. We actually have a sponsor for this episode. Maya, would you like to tell us more about it?
Venice Cryptid is your one-stop shop for all kinds of knickknacks, oddities, and decor made by artists and small businesses. Join the virtual boardwalk community at venicecryptid.com. That's VENICECRYPTID.com.
Feel free to find us on our socials and leave some comments. You can find us at Walter's Rear Window, one word, all lowercase, on Instagram, or join our Discord server. Tune in the next episode to hear us explore sparkly vampires and the reason why one of our friends, Andrea, moved to Portland. If you haven't guessed it by now, it's Twilight.